So preventing another BP oil spill still a concern for a lot of folks, especially in Washington. Our next guest says the regulatory system for offshore drilling is broken and needs fundamental change. He's a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, a former Clinton advisor and author of the article, The New Republic, Drill for Answers, Not Oil. William Galston, thank you so much for being here. So in your piece, you question whether there's a connection between the Bush-Cheney administration policy on energy drilling and the events that occurred 2 weeks ago. So what specifically is the link you're looking at? I guess it's a month ago now since the piece was written. Or the disaster happened, I apologize.
You know, the link was that in the closing days of the Clinton administration, the Minerals Management Service, MMS for short, recommended the use of an additional safety device on all offshore drilling. And by 2003, MMS had changed its mind about that, largely because of cost concerns expressed by industry. And that is one of a series of episodes over the past decade that pretty conclusively demonstrates that the regulatory system simply has not functioned appropriately and needs to be fundamentally overhauled.
Isn't there a hindsight is 2020 aspect of that argument, though? Because as you just put it, you know, those implements were very costly given the capital expenditures those companies were already spending to build the drilling technology again at that time.
Perhaps, but the devices in question would have cost $500,000 per well, which sounds like a lot, but when you consider that the rig that blew up cost $560 million, we're talking about a small fraction of 1% of total costs. And I bet BP wishes that it had installed that device now, because it's going to pay 1,000 times that much to clean up.
Indeed. I want to talk about this. I think the device you're referring to, right, is this remote-controlled shutoff switch already in use by rigs in Norway and Brazil. So if this rig, if this BP rig that had the disaster, it was lauded, right, for having the deepest oil well. So wouldn't a remote-controlled device seem like a no-brainer shutoff device?
Look, I am really sensitive to the charge that hindsight is 2020. The really important question is what we do now to minimize the chances that this kind of disaster will occur again. And Secretary Salazar has made a good start by dividing MMS in two so that the regulatory function will be performed by people other than the people who are in the business of collecting money from the industry. But we need to go a lot farther than that. We need to make sure that there are appropriate backup plans in place if and when another accident occurs. And it's really amazing that no such plans existed and that everybody's had to improvise on the fly. There are a lot of other things we need to do, but it starts with getting serious about a regulatory regime that is devised and enforced independent of industry control, although obviously industry input is entirely appropriate.
William Galston, a senior fellow of government studies, the Brookings Institution. Thank you so much for your time and insights.